and welcome to another episode of Life Lessons in Bon Jovi songs. And this is the second time I'm recording this video, but the first time was not, just before this one. It was, I think, 3 weeks ago, in the week when I was actually supposed to post a new episode of this series. So I did record it in that week, but there are 2 to 3 things that can go wrong. And they always go wrong when I, try to squeeze it in, when I try to make it a quickie, when I, when the sun is already setting a bit, and so I have a few things that can go wrong that make me look back at the video and think like, I just don't want to be confronted with this being online the rest of my life. Like, so I did record that video. I had it ready for you, but I missed it. So what I'm going to do is I expect to have a lot of less time later this year. So I'm going to speed it up because this is called New Year, New Jersey. So I'm going to do this whole album, including all the songs, all the extra songs that are created for this one in this year. And with me already, not being able to meet my own schedule right now, I'm like, yeah, it's not gonna be this, otherwise we're going to have another year, another new year, another New Jersey. So I really want to wrap it up this year. So I'm going to speed it up from now on and try to deliver one of these videos every week, because they're so, that I feel so often when I create them. And I don't know. I'm not seeing any learning curve here. Like, it's been years and I still regularly just feel at it. So it was ready for you, and I did delete it. No, I didn't delete it. I kept it so that I could just, I just watched it so that it was easier for me to film one now. But so that's what's up. I am aware that that there's a gap on this channel, and you can expect to be seeing more frequent videos here, like once a week, and the reason that I was short on time 3 weeks ago and made those mistakes was because I have an audio yoga channel where I will be teaching for the rest of my life, and I had started that in that week, and I will give you the link here below. So if you are a yoga practitioner and you're looking for a very calming, soothing way to practice online, then I will give you the link. And if you are a beginner and you're like, no, I'm very good with audio instructions, because there's no image, you can also check it out. So that was the reason I was short on time, and it's all working out because now I just realized, I really need to speed this up. So everything is well, and we're at 99 inches. Oh, and then another reason why there is a gap in this channel and I was late was because last week we had a heat wave here. So it actually was almost 99 in the shade, and it was really impossible for me to film. So that was another reason why it took longer, that the conditions here were just not right for me to film. So so we're at the 11th song on the album, 99 in the shade. I already said it, and it means a heat wave. It means 37 degrees Celsius in the shade. So that's very high. I think we only had that in the Netherlands once, and that was in 2019 when we had the highest temperatures on record. And usually it is here in the Netherlands. We do not have those types of temperatures of 99 in the shade or 37 degrees Celsius in the shade. But we don't have aircos here in the Netherlands and just in Europe in general. Like consumers do not have their own aircos, so we don't have that kind of luxury. As opposed to New Jersey, where people do have aircos. So yeah, so 99 in the shade is the 11th song on the New Jersey album, and it has the it has the shady reputation of getting some shade. So meaning there's some down talking about this song. And the reason is when people are pondering if New Jersey is a perfect album, they'll say, well, no, it's not because of 99 in the Shade. Well, I mean, I'm like, if 99 in the Shade is the reason that this is not a perfect album, then obviously it's a perfect album. Like, okay, seriously, that's the best you could come up with. You know, that's the bar that like, oh no, because of 99 in the Shade, it's not a perfect album. So obviously it is a perfect album. It is my favorite Bon Jovi album, and of a lot of people, it is as well. But I think that the reason people are very critical of 99 in the Shade being on this album is because they are aware of all the all the brilliant songs that were written for this album, and they never made it. So it's more like they are like in their mind comparing 99 in the Shade to like all those brilliant songs that were B-sides or that were ultimately on the 2004 um, box 100 million Bon Jovi fans can't be wrong. So we do ultimately got the songs, all the other songs that were written for this album. You know, we know what they are, and I am going to share them with you in the upcoming videos. But that's when you're like, really, you chose 99 in the Shade when you had those great songs to choose from? So I think that's really the reason why people are critical of this song, because they have an awareness that there was so much good stuff to choose from. So yeah, so that's 99 in the Shade. That's where the title sometimes pops up in a negative way, and I really want to stress that that's a very relative experience. Like, you need context in order to understand why someone would be so picky on 99 in the Shade, because it's a fun song. It's just a really fun song. And so it's about being in your teens and going to the beach on those hot days and hanging out together, and like Tommy and Gina from the song Living on a Prayer make an appearance here as well. And the whole concept of being nostalgic towards your teenage years is a very Bon Jovi. Like, it's like they have a lot of songs that kind of like refer to that nostalgic feeling and that longing for the carefreeness of being a teenager. And 99 in the Shade really goes along perfectly with those other songs. It's a very Bon Jovi like theme. So yeah, so that's what I have to say about the song. And the illustration that I have here is John Bon Jovi wearing pants that are so short that you can see that, like, the pocket, the lining of the pocket from underneath. And and I immediately knew, like, oh, that photo shoot, that is a great visual for 99 in the Shade. And I got it. This is the book from Mark Weiss, The Decade That Rocked. And Mark Weiss was a photographer for hard rock bands and hard rock artists. And yeah, so this is the photo that goes with the video of 99 of not the video, but with this talk about 99 in the shade, because it's the perfect 99 in the shade attire. So the photo was taken in 1987 on Jamaica at the the filming of an MTV special, or a special on MTV, which was called Hedonism Weekend, and uh, and it was, yeah, it was a very difficult, like, if you would now, what it was probably already difficult to watch then, but especially now with the way that we are now, and we are more looking back. It was There was a lot to unpack, so I don't think that it was a special where the people who worked on it look back on it and were like, oh yeah, that was my best work. And it was, how do you say that, like something that is a signature of its time. Sometimes people are so, like, immersed in the culture and they just go with it, and I think, like, we as humans, we just need to give ourselves permission to just go with it and just go with the vibe of the time, and just say, like, oh, you know what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to Jamaica, to an adults only resort where clothes were optional in this resort. I just looked it up. Clothes were optional. Let's go there and let's invite all the stars. And, like, okay, we as humans, we need to give ourselves permission to yeah, just go with the vibe of the times, but that also comes with the reckoning. I think we already have our life lesson here. It comes with the reckoning of looking back years later, decades later, and, like, there's no shade here to MTV or to that special, because well, just in general, I don't think it's a good idea to shame people for anything. But also, like, I have made mistakes myself, of course. We all make mistakes where we look back and we think, like, oh yeah, that was not great, or I really didn't have, I didn't understand how that was for the other person, or how that might have been received by the other person, and maybe I caused harm there. So yeah, so there's a lot of that in the MTV special Hedonism Weekend. But there was also John Bon Jovi with very short pants, and what's not to like about that? So yeah, uh, so this is the photo that I chose for, to go with this song, and I made some notes about oh yeah, yeah, I know the reason I think this whole looking back on your not childhood, looking back on your teenage years, the reason I think why that is such a big Bon Jovi theme is because John Bon Jovi himself was so very serious about becoming a rock star. So, like, when he was 16, he already went to the bars and played with his band and got that experience under his belt of being a singer and being, the lead singer of a small band, playing in local bars, and at the same time he was in high school. So in the evening he had to go to the bar, and he worked on his big vision, and getting that experience of becoming a rock star. And the day after, he would be in school, and he still had a high school diploma to pass. So it's so his own teenage years were not carefree, being on the beach, and they were not about winging it, and they were not about being, not having a plan and only being interested in girls. He was probably the most serious teenager of the whole of New Jersey. So I think that that is why he yeah he kept looking back. It was almost like he was writing about something that he had to sacrifice in order um, um, to get his real dream. So he was not even 22 when his first album came out, and did I get that correctly? Yeah, yeah. So so that meant that he had sacrificed his youth in order to pursue his dream of becoming a rock star. And I think that is really what 99 in the Shade and all those other Bon Jovi songs that are reminiscent of a childhood, are reminiscent of those teenage years. Um, why why they are important to him, because he never had that. He had to sacrifice that, and he did, and wrote songs about it afterwards. So yeah, yeah. So I think, like I just said, we had our first life lesson already, which was go with the flow, go with the sign of the times, but with the vibe of the times, but understand that there will be a reckoning. Understand that you will look back at those memories, and maybe even there are photos or there are videos about what you did, and even if you have created it at the time, um, really as a piece of art, or as something that you put thought in. If you really give yourself permission to really go with the vibe of the moment, there is definitely a risk. There is definitely a risk of um, looking back and being a little bit shocked about what you did, and that's not an easy risk to take. But I think the life lesson is that you should be taking it. And there's even uh, a bigger reason behind it, behind why, when you look back at things that you just like did in the spur of the moment, or that you created within a certain cultural environment, and you really threw yourself in it. I think there is a reason why it is so painful to look back at those memories, or at those days, or at those pieces you created. And that is because you really um, put a piece of yourself, of your soul, into, you kind of like weaved it into the fabric of what it is you did. And that means that you when you look back, you kind of like almost get like a short circuit into your own nervous system. It's like you're like it's like it's almost too close. It's like an electric shock, because you really put something of yourself really in that moment, and that makes it so unapologetic, and it makes it so, in a way, raw. And when you look back at that, it's like you're immediately kind of like into your own soul, you're into your own being, because you were so in the moment and no filter, and you really gave it your all. So I think that the fact that you look back at certain moments or things that you created at the time, which, just like the hedonism special from 1987, is like, yeah, okay, there's a lot to unpack. It is not a sign that you were wrong, but maybe it is a sign that you were right, that you were actually on point for that time, and that you being involved kept that moment in time, kept that memory of what life was like in that moment for you or for the culture at large. It could be preserved because you were ready to tie yourself to it, to tie yourself to the moment, to tie yourself to MTV in their most hedonistic era. And yeah, so I think that is really uh, the most that's the most profound life lesson. Like you can just cut the video now and I'll see you next time if you don't want to have the more shallow a more shallow life lesson. But I have a more shallow life lesson for you as well. Okay, the more shallow life lesson is that we're at the beginning of summer, so it's the 2nd of July as I'm recording this, and yeah, we're at the beginning of summer, so you can really start to think about this summer, like what kind of memories do I want to create, what kind of experiences, um yeah, and this can be in all kinds of yeah, this can have all kinds of shapes, but that's the more shallow life lesson, but it's not less inspiring. Like how do you want your summer to look like summer 2027, 2027 6, sorry, summer 2026, how do you want it to look? What's on your bucket list? So that was it for today. I'll see you next time for the last official song on this album. So that's the last song before we move to the outtakes, before we move to the songs that were not on the album but that were created. And the last song on this album is called Love for Sale. So I will see you next time, probably already next week, and see you there. Okay, bye.